Ever poured your heart and soul into a TV show only to have the finale leave you feeling empty? Like you've been on a long, beautiful road trip and the driver just pulls over and says, "All right, get out," in the middle of a desert. Yeah, we've all been there, and today we're re-diving deep into the phenomenon of disappointing series finales and why they drive fans to demand a complete rewrite. You won't believe some of the stories we've uncovered. Let's start with a fundamental question. What makes a finale bad? It's not just about a sad ending. It's about endings that feel unearned, that betray character development, or that leave so many plot threads dangling you could knit a sweater with them. Think about it. You've spent years, sometimes a decade, with these characters. You've watched them grow, make mistakes, fall in love, and overcome incredible odds. They feel like friends, like family even. So when the final episode throws all that development out the window for a cheap shock or a nonsensical twist, it feels like a personal betrayal. One of the biggest culprits is rushed pacing. A show can spend 8 seasons meticulously building a world and its characters, only to cram the resolution of a dozen complex storylines into a single 60-minute episode. Suddenly, characters are making life-altering decisions in the blink of an eye. Long-lost enemies are defeated with a convenient plot device, and the grand, epic conclusion feels more like a frantic sprint to the finish line. It leaves audiences with whiplash, wondering, wait, that's it? That's how it ends? The journey was a marathon, but the destination felt like a footnote. Then there's the classic case of character assassination. A character who has been defined by their honor and integrity suddenly does something completely out of character. A hero who has always fought for justice suddenly decides that, you know what, maybe burning down a city isn't such a bad idea. We're looking at you, Game of Thrones. When Daenerys Targaryen arc took a nosedive from beloved liberator to Mad Queen in the span of a few episodes. It didn't feel like a tragic, inevitable conclusion. For many, it felt like the writers needed a villain and decided to sacrifice years of her character development to create one. This kind of storytelling feels lazy and disrespectful to the audience who invested so much in that character's journey. It's not just that the ending was dark. It's that the path to get there felt like a poorly drawn map. And let us not forget the ambiguous endings that are less thought-provoking and more frustratingly vague. While a little ambiguity can be powerful, like the spinning top at the end of Inception, some finales take it too far. They leave major questions unanswered, not as a creative choice, but seemingly because the writers couldn't figure out how to answer them. The finale of Lost is a classic example. After years of intricate mysteries, from the polar bears to the smoke monster to the numbers, the final explanation about a spiritual purgatory left many fans feeling confused and unsatisfied. They signed up for a sci-fi mystery and felt like they got a philosophy lesson they didn't ask for at the very end. The creators might call it leaving it open to interpretation, but for many fans, it just feels like the writers wrote a check their story couldn't cash. This frustration is what fuels the rewrite movement. It's not just a few angry fans on a forum anymore. We're talking massive online petitions, some garnering millions of signatures, demanding that networks and showrunners go back to the drawing board. The remake Game of Thrones Season 8 petition is perhaps the most famous example, becoming a global news story. It showed the immense power of a collective fan voice. While a full-scale remake is incredibly unlikely for logistical and financial reasons, the sentiment behind it is powerful. It's a message from the audience saying, "We deserved better. These characters deserved better." This desire for a do-over isn't new. In the age of fanfiction, fans have been rewriting unsatisfactory endings for decades. Websites like Archive of Our Own are filled with alternate endings, fix-it, fix, and entire season rewrites for popular shows. These aren't just wish-fulfillment fantasies. They are often incredibly well-written, thoughtful explorations of what could have been. They show a deep understanding of the characters and the world, often fixing plot holes and honoring character arcs in ways the official writers failed to do. It's a testament to how deeply these stories resonate with people. They're not just passively consuming content. They are actively engaging with it, shaping it, and keeping it alive in their own way. But why does it hit so hard? It's about the emotional contract between the creators and the audience. When we invest our time and emotions into a story, we trust that the creators will honor that investment with a satisfying conclusion. A good ending doesn't have to be a happy one. It can be tragic, bittersweet, or heartbreaking, as long as it feels earned and true to the story that came before it. Think of the finale of Breaking Bad. It's a dark and tragic ending, but it's almost universally praised because it felt like the perfect, logical conclusion to Walter White's journey. Every decision, every consequence led to that final moment. It was satisfying because it was inevitable. When that contract is broken, fans feel cheated. It's like being promised a gourmet meal and getting served a fast food burger instead. You're still fed, but the experience is nowhere near what you were hoping for. The rise of social media has amplified this feeling. In the past, if you hated a finale, you might complain to a few friends. Now, you can instantly connect with thousands, even millions, of other disappointed fans around the world. That shared frustration builds momentum and creates a powerful collective voice that is hard for Hollywood to ignore. This has led to a fascinating shift in the power dynamic. Creators are now more aware than ever that their audience is watching and will hold them accountable. While some writers have pushed back, defending their creative choices, others have become more engaged with fan feedback. We're also seeing the impact of fan demand in other ways. Shows that were cancelled too soon, like Firefly or Veronica Mars, were brought back for movie-length finales precisely because of relentless fan campaigns. It proves that when fans organize and make their voices heard, they can actually influence the industry. So, what does this mean for the future of television? Will every unpopular ending be subject to a fan-led rewrite campaign? Probably not. But it does signal a change in how we talk about and interact with our favorite stories. The line between creator and consumer is blurring. Fans are no longer just passive recipients. They are active participants, critics, and sometimes even unofficial collaborators. This isn't about fans being entitled or not understanding art. It's about passion. It's about caring so much for a story and its characters that an ending that feels wrong is a genuine source of grief and frustration. The demand for a rewrite is the ultimate expression of that passion. It's a cry that says, "We loved this so much, and we believe it deserved a better farewell." It's as a desire to see the story they fell in love with get the ending it truly earned. Ultimately, whether it's Game of Thrones, How I Met Your Mother, Dexter, or any other show with a divisive finale, the conversation it sparks is fascinating. It forces us to ask what we want from our stories and what makes an ending truly satisfying. And while we may never get that official Season 8 remake, the countless fan edits, fictions, and discussions ensure that the story doesn't really end with the credits. It lives on, reshaped and reimagined in the hearts and minds of the fans who loved it most. And maybe, just maybe, that's a more powerful ending than any writer could ever script. Thanks for watching, everyone. What series finale left you feeling the most disappointed? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.